All right. We are back again. We should be live right now. Welcome back to the channel, people. Welcome back to another live stream. Today, we are here to talk about Bitcoin making a comeback above $90,000. And there won't be any altcoin season anytime soon. That is what we are going to talk about today. And whatever else that you guys may be interested in. So, welcome back to the channel. I hope you are having an amazing Sunday. I hope your weekend is going pretty well. Bitcoin has made a comeback above $90,000. My belief is that we are going to see the price of Bitcoin somewhere in the higher $90,000 range sometimes in the next couple of days. My belief is that we are going to see an amazing performance across the altcoin market. We are already performing pretty well, actually. I think we are going to see a continuation of this. We talked about setups, we talked about potential price targets, some of the coins that we talked about recently, AVAX, SUI, Aerodrome Finance, XLM, XRP, a bunch of these altcoins. We talked about them. Wow, Bonk is up 27%. I mean, this is unbelievable. I also want to talk about this one specific chart that is going around talking about a bullish confirmation, talking about an altcoin season. I don't think you are going to see an altcoin season anytime soon. So I want to make sure if you are a viewer of my content, if you watch my streams, if you watch my market breakdown, I want to make sure that you don't get caught up in, what's going around and you don't position yourself and end up losing a lot of money in the short term. So, yeah, welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys have had an amazing the weekend is still here, but I hope you guys are having an amazing weekend. I don't want to waste time. I want to jump straight to the point. I'm gonna start with Bitcoin, and then we can, get into the other stuff. So Bitcoin has made a comeback above $90,000. Once again, my belief is that we are going to see BTC in the higher $90,000 range. If you watch my updates recently, this is basically going to be a repeat of the conversation we already had. We have a clear resistance right here, and then we also have a clear support right here. And my outlook on this is that, we're looking at a Bitcoin that is going back to retest the resistance. Resistance we are talking about in terms of specific price target, we are talking about $96,000. So this is very simple right here. I don't really think there's anything else to talk about, to be very honest with you guys, in terms of Bitcoin. Like, the updates from the last couple of days, this update right here, this one right here, this one right here, every single one of these updates, I basically laid it out for you guys. So yeah, there's nothing new, to be very honest. $98,000, somewhere in this range right here. This is exactly where we are going to be days from now. If you zoom out and you go to the weekly, the 21 weekly moving average is something that we talked about a lot in my recent live streams. 21 weekly is currently around $99,000. I think give it about 2 days. 2 days from now, I think 21 weekly moving average is going to be somewhere around $98,000. Once again, in a downtrend or in a bear market, price tends to come to retest the 21 weekly. And also, what I'm going to say is this. If you don't believe that we are in a bear market or we have started a bear market, let me share with you guys your final confirmation. If price comes back to, if price goes up to the 21 weekly and then it gets rejected, that should be your final confirmation. Like if you are still, not really sure if this is a bear market or if this is the beginning of a long-term downtrend, if BTC is rejected at the 21 weekly moving average and you still are not convinced, then I don't know what else to really say to you. If you go back and you look at confirmations in terms of price getting rejected by the 21 weekly, that was basically your final confirmation. All right. This is, back in January of 2022, around $51,000. A very big rejection. That was the beginning of a long-term bear market. You go back to the 2017 bear market, a 2018 bear market, right here, got rejected around $9,000. And then we got a long-term bear market. You go back to the 2014 bear market, right here. All right, price managed to get above the 21 weekly. Unfortunately, wasn't really successful. Ended up coming back below the 21 weekly. And that was also the beginning of a long-term bear market. So, if you are still in the camp that we are still in a bull market, and this is nothing but a healthy pullback, that is perfectly fine. But if the price is rejected by the 21 weekly, or if we do manage to get above the 21 weekly and ended up losing it again, that is not what a bull market looks like. In a bull market, we tend to stay above the 21 weekly. And when we lose the 21 weekly moving average, we quickly get back above the 21 weekly moving average. Now, once do we get rejected and then, we spend months below the 21 weekly moving average. Now, one time, guys, throughout the history of Bitcoin's bull market. So, yeah, pretty much that would be my update on BTC because, look, I don't want to spend 10 minutes just going over what we already talked about. If you go back to yesterday's live stream, if you go back to this stream right here, guys, I spent a good 40 minutes, just talking about Bitcoin. Like I spent a good 40 minutes. Look, you go from minute 1. This is BTC right here. And we push all the way until, look, we 30 minutes in. I was still talking about Bitcoin. So, yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on this because I don't think it provides any more value to you guys. But it's great to see the price back above $90,000. Let's be patient. Let's see what the next couple of days will bring to us. This is exactly what I'm looking at in terms of targets. And nothing is going to change that. As long as the price of Bitcoin is above $84,000. As long as we stay above $84,000, nothing is going to change my $96,000 target. So this is basically my invalidation. Looking at Ethereum looks really good. I'm looking at this range right here. Very interesting range. Anywhere from $3,300 to $3,600. That is a place where we could potentially trade in over the next couple of days. When you zoom out and you go to the weekly, 21 weekly moving average is exactly in the, inside of the range, $3,300. In a bear market, once again, we tend to respect the pullback into. So, yeah, I mean, this is very simple and straightforward if you ask me. I don't think this is a complicated market. Okay, if you look at the charts, it's very clear, at least very clear to me. Some of the trades that we recently talked about, for some of you guys who are new here, we talked about Sui. I gave you guys a very simple trade. Entry was around $1.40 with a stop loss just right below $1.31. Looking at 225 up to 270. Profit wise, you're looking at 60% profits. The risk is less than 10%. This is not financial advice. Do your research first. But this is a potential trade that I was looking at. XRP, I think entry was somewhere down here around $1.80 or $1.80 whatever. Profits, we're looking at this $2.28. Risk less than 10%. Profits looking at more than 20%. Another one we looked at was XLM. We looked at entries somewhere down here. Stop loss just right below 19 cents. Going after a 20% profits. The risk was no more than 10%. We also looked at Aerodrome Finance. Entry was somewhere back here. All right, actually, entry was somewhere around 40 cents. We're looking at 70 cents. This is a position that's already up, I think, 40% maybe. Yeah, almost 40%. At one point, we were up a good 45%. So that was something we were looking at. We also talked about Near Protocol. We talked about AVAX. AVAX trade. I think entry was somewhere back here. I don't know if it was this right here exactly or somewhere down here. Stop loss just right below 12.18. I think the initial one was right below 11.27. At this point you can raise your stop loss. Other trades we looked at, we looked at a bunch of trades. We talked about Near Protocol. We looked at entries. There you go. This is one right here, guys, where this was the entry. Stop loss just right below $1.40. Going after a 30% move. The risk is worth it. When you look at trades like this one right here, the risk was about 6%. The profits is 32%. These are the type of trades that I'm a bigger fan of. Meaning my risk is way, way tiny compared to the profits that I'm going after. So if I'm risking about 50 cents, I want to make sure my profits is, maybe $2, maybe $3, maybe $5. Like those are the type of trades that I think makes a lot of most sense. And you have to be very patient, of course. This is not something you wake up and just try to jump into. You want to make sure you are very sophisticated in your approach. You want to make sure risk management is the priority, and you want to be patient because this will take some time. If you think about these trades right here, we started talking about bullish divergency when price was coming down, but the MACD and the RSI were trending up. We talked about bullish divergencies. So if you look at these updates right here, all right, some of these updates. So like right here, when we looked at the bigger picture and then we Say altcoins were setting up for a bigger move. That was about 8 days ago. You go back to these updates right here, guys. This is AVAX. AVAX was around $12.40, and I was looking at, now what was happening with the price. I was looking at what was happening outside of the price. Structure wise, do we think we are looking at a market where price will continue down in the short term, or are we more likely to see a turnaround? And of course, guys, we were absolutely right. Another one we looked. So yeah, this was AVAX, and then we looked at, holy smoke, where's the other guys? We looked at SUI. Look, this is SUI right here, around $1.40. Once again, when I looked at SUI, I looked at the MACD, I looked at the RSI, and I said, hey, once again, this is looking pretty good, and I'm liking what I'm seeing right now. So congratulations to any of you guys who was watching those updates, and not just watching, but you took actions. If you jumped in right here, this is a position that's already up about 20%. At this point, you're looking at walking away with profits, pure profits, because even if we do get a retracement, your stop loss is higher now. Probably, yeah, let me not even get into that. That's a different conversation. But very good time to be in this market. Once again, appreciate you guys for joining. If this is your first time right here, hit that subscribe button, guys. Guys, we are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. And also, I'm going to beg you guys, please, 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 if you follow me on X, guys, go and share my post. I'm trying to get my YouTube back. I'm trying to get my original YouTube with 10,000 subscribers back. That was a channel that was recently removed or deleted by YouTube. I guess I violated some of their guidelines, policies. I'm trying to get that back. I don't think I violated any policy. So I want to make sure that, we go back to the main stage. So if you guys can just do me one big favor and go to Twitter or X, give me a follow and tag YouTube. Small creators, we are at a big disadvantage because when things like this happen, like we don't have enough community to make noise so YouTube can take action. So this was my recent post. YouTube was able to respond to me, but I need more of you guys. Go and share the post, guys. Go and tag YouTube. Make some noise. Let me get my channel back. With 10,000 subscribers, over 1,000 videos. I have over 1,000 videos on that channel. So I shouldn't be able to lose it just like that. But anyways, what I want to talk about is something that is very important because someone in my Discord sent it to me, but this is the second person. So I want to make sure if you are here and if you watch my content, if you are interested in altcoins, I want to make sure you do not get caught up in this right here. So this is a chart that is going around. And people are talking about how the MACD has flipped bullish for the very first time since 2020 and how this is going to be, or this is the beginning of an altcoin season. So this was posted. Long-term MACD on altcoins just flipped bullish for the first time in years. Last time this happened, altcoins exploded 10 to 30x on average. Look, I'm not doing this because of this person. I'm not hating or anything, but I do want to give you guys my opinion on what we are seeing right here. Is this a bullish confirmation? Is this the beginning of an incredible altcoin season? Are we going to see 10 20, 30, 100x across the altcoin market. Uh, I don't think so. And I don't think this is what people actually think it is. So let me actually show you. Let me actually kind of zoom in. Look, this is a chart right here, guys. They're looking at this MACD right here. And I believe this is a monthly time frame. I actually have this chart on my trading view. So I'm gonna get to that, and we'll start the analysis. But as you guys can clearly see, kind of hard to see because this is blurry. It's not very clear. This is the MACD right here that has flipped bullish, and once again, this is a bullet. This is a monthly time frame. You're looking at this right here. It looks like we're about to get a breakout. They are comparing it to back here. Back here, this was 2020. We had an altcoin season, right after. So, they're looking at this and they're saying, once we get this breakout, we are going to have an altcoin season. And in terms of targets, of course, you're looking at, if you look at this trend line right here, you're looking at altcoins coming all the way up to retest this green line right here. So the question is that what is really about to happen? Are we looking at the beginning of an incredible altcoin season? This is the chart right here, right? I personally do not think so. And I'm going to try to explain to you guys exactly why I don't believe that and why I'm extremely bearish on altcoins. And I don't think we are going to see an altcoin season anytime soon, even if it's based on this chart right here. So the last time we had an altcoin season based on this chart, you got to go all the way back to 2017 bull market. I mean, look at this beautiful uptrend right here. And then you also got to go back to the last bull market, which is our most recent altcoin season. And that basically started back, look, you can make an argument that started back in, you can say 2019. That was the bottom. But you go from 2020 until 2021. I mean, what an incredible bull market. I can tell you right now, millions, if not billions of profits was made right here. Millions, if not billions of profits was made right here. So why I don't believe that this is going to be the beginning of an altcoin season. Let me share that with you. If we are going to base this chart on the MACD indicator, because I want to focus on this because this is what these guys are basically referring to, all right? MACD has flipped bullish. Once we get this breakout, you're looking at some explosive moves. Chat, let me tell you the difference between, well, anyways, first and foremost, yes, the MACD on the monthly has flipped bullish, all right? So you see the blue line right here has crossed above this red line, which is a bullish confirmation. But this bullish confirmation is not what you actually think it is. Let me tell you the difference between this right here and the last time we turned bullish on the MACD and we ended up with an altcoin season. First of all, the MACD bullish indication, all right, if you are looking at a bullish cross, you want to make sure that the bullish cross is taking place right on or above the zero line. So I'm going to try to, well, I'm not going to try to, I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to put a horizontal line on the zero line. This is a zero line right here. When we have a MACD bullish confirmation, you want to make sure the confirmation is taking place right on this yellow line right here. You see the horizontal yellow line? Let me actually make this bigger. All right. You want to make sure the bullish confirmation is taking place right here. So if you look at the last time we had this MACD bullish confirmation, that was right here. All right. That was in June of 2022. And that was basically, the beginning of this incredible bull market based on this MACD confirmation. And then if you go back to the 2016, 2017 bull market, Here we had another MACD bullish confirmation, and that also took place above the yellow line. And that was basically the beginning of that 2016-2017 altcoin season. So if you look at the performance right after that MACD turned bullish on the monthly, this is what we have. All right. If you look at the confirmation right here, this is also what we ended up with. Now, sometimes you can get a fake out, okay? But this was a real confirmation. And this one right here was also a real confirmation. And they were both very sustainable. The difference this time is that the MACD confirmation is taking place in what I call a bearish territory. Like, this is way, way down, guys. This is way, 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 way down. It's nowhere near this yellow line. All right, it is nowhere near this zero line like the previous two times. So, to me, this is not a bullish confirmation. Is it positive? Probably. Well, maybe yes. But in terms of price, this is not positive, guys. And the reason is because this MACD, despite its bullish confirmation, this MACD could potentially continue to rise. But while the price is in a continuation of this downtrend right here, so we could potentially continue to do this, even though the MACD is bullish, all right, and MACD is rising. Or if we don't continue to go down, we could potentially just go sideways. All right, we could potentially just go sideways where nothing really much is happening. So to me, this is not a bullish confirmation. I'm going to give you guys an example. Looking at a MACD bullish cross in what I call a bearish territory. And let's see if price actually went up. So actually, a good example is, let's take a look at SUI. All right. This is SUI right here. We're going to go to the daily time frame. So if you look at the setup of SUI, this is SUI right here. I want you guys to look at the price and look at the MACD bullish cross. And I want you to take a look at the performance of SUI, okay? So here we had a bullish cross in a bearish territory. All right, this was on October 25 of 2025, all right? Price of SUI at the time, guys, was around $2.50, all right? But guess what? Despite this MACD bullish confirmation, price didn't really go up, all right? You go from 250, we dump all the way down to around $1.30. This is a 50% crash right after a bullish confirmation, okay? Now, let's take a look at another one, okay? Right here, we had a bearish confirmation, turn bullish again right here. Let's take a look at this other bullish confirmation. This was around the 8th of November, all right, 2025. Price of SUI is around, $2.10. But we go from $2.10 down to $1.30, which is almost a 40% crash. Once again, we crashed 40%, but the MACD gave us a bullish confirmation, right? Doesn't make any sense, right? If the MACD is bullish, why is the price not, responding to that? All right, let me show you another one. There's another one right here. This is our most recent one. Price of SUI, we are trading around $1.50. All right, we go from $1.50 all the way down to $1.30, which is about, percentage drop. That is about, you go from here down here. This is about a 15% crash. Once again, the MACD is bullish, but price is not bullish. Something is not adding up. All right, so this is exactly what we have right here with this so-called, monthly MACD bullish confirmation that is going to give us this incredible altcoin season. This is not happening. That is not where you want your MACD to turn bullish. All right. You want the MACD to be bullish or give you a bullish confirmation right above the zero line, because that is a bull market. At least this is what I call it, a bull market territory. if the MACD gives you a bullish cross above the zero line, price tends to respond positively. Price tends to go up. I'll show you guys multiple. Well, I did show you some examples, but I will show you some examples with SUI right here. Let's take a look at a bullish. Let me go to the weekly. Let's take a look at a bullish MACD crossover above the zero line, and let's see how price responded to that. So right here, guys, on September of 2024, literally almost the last week of September, right here, MACD gave us a bullish crossover just right around the yellow line, okay? Right around the zero line. I want you guys to take a look at the performance of SUI, all right? SUI goes from 97 cents all the way up to around $5, all right? MACD gave us a bullish confirmation, and the price responded to that positively. Notice how price is not crashing with this type of MACD crossover. This is exactly what you want to see, chat. So if we go back, let me get rid of this. If we go back to this altcoin chart, which is right here, all right, and we go back to the monthly, because this is what these guys are referring to. This is now bullish, all right? Despite this bullish confirmation, I don't think price is going to respond positively to that. I think you have a price that's more likely to continue down, or even if we don't go down, we go sideways. Now, my biggest problem is this. This so-called MACD bullish cross is taking place on the monthly time frame, way below the zero line. Before we get to the zero line, like if this MACD continues to rise and we get closer to the zero line, I think this is going to take anywhere between 6 to 12 months and probably more. This is not popular, but I'm telling you right now, we're looking at a monthly time frame. If this MACD is going to rise and try to break above the zero line, this is not something that's going to take a couple of days or a couple of weeks. I am talking about minimum 6 months, guys. Like literally, I'm talking about minimum 6 months. So what we're looking at here, in my opinion, is an altcoin season. All right, the so-called altcoin season, or let's just say an altcoin market that is more likely to experience a downtrend over the next 6 to 12 months. Now, if the MACD, all right, if the MACD can break above the zero line on the monthly time frame, I am going to change my tune, and trust me, I'm going to be the first person that's going to say this is the beginning of something incredible. Now, I'm not saying that from now until a couple months from now, this may not go up. Like we may go up, but we may only go up to end up doing something like this, and they go up again to also end up doing something like this. The only positive that I take from this is that we are going to see some bullish divergence. So while the price continues to crash, if the MACD can continue to rise, that will give us bullish divergence. And if at some point as we get closer to the zero line, if you can start to position yourself, then I think you are going to be in a position where you can capture some real value, but it's just not right now. This is going to be later. So I'll give you another example of that. Think about, let me just go back to SUI. All right. When I was analyzing SUI recently on the daily, I said, hey, we have some bullish divergence on the MACD, but I don't think this is time to be bullish yet. We need to be patient. As we get closer to the zero line, price is going to start breaking out. So that was a couple days ago. All right. If we can get something like this on the monthly in the altcoin market, As we get closer to the zero line on the monthly, that's when you start. That is when you should start positioning yourself. But what you want to do right now is you want to try to avoid this right here. You want to try to avoid this right here, guys. Remember the 50% crash we talked about? Even though the MACD turned bullish, we still went up. We still went down 50%. This is the one that you want to try to avoid. Wait until there's a clear indication that the bottom is finally forming and the MACD on your monthly is getting closer to the zero line. So that is something that I wanted to talk about because I've received the same chart from two different people that were looking at it, and I get it. I think people are very desperate right now for, some sort of altcoin season. But if this is a true representation of when we are going to have an altcoin season, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but it won't be right now, guys. With a chart that looks like this, look, this is going to take a long time. Yo, let me... You want to know what's crazy? Chat. We have been in a massive bear market based on the MACD from May of 2022, and we haven't recovered. We in 2025, based on the MACD, we have not recovered at all. If this MACD is going to be your buy indicator, you gotta have to be patient. You want to know what else is crazy, chat? Look, if you think about when we lost the zero line, all right, the moment we lost the zero line, the moment we basically lost the bullish territory, the moment the MACD lost, the moment the MACD exit, altcoins bullish territory, that was April of 2023. All right, think about this, chat. April 2023, which is right here, MACD exit altcoins bullish territory, and look at April 2023 and right now. How many days is that? You're looking at 976 days. This does not look like something that's going to turn positive anytime soon. Let's say we only experience, from now until we break above the zero line, let's say it is half these days right here. So you're basically looking at like anywhere between 430 something days. Let's say 430 days before we break above the zero line. 430 days, chat. You're basically looking at a market or an altcoin market that will continue to be bearish until March of 2027. Forget about 2026. You're looking at March of 2027. This goes back to, you're looking at 6-12 months or more, in terms of some sort of an altcoin season. Right? And again, look, this is not the most comfortable conversation to have right now because we all want an altcoin season. But look, this is my first time looking at this chart right here, to be very honest with you guys. But if this is the true representation of when we are going to have an altcoin season, it is not right now. All right? It is not right now. And you know what's crazy, actually? That you see these altcoins that performed in this bull market, they're not even represented in this chart right here. Because now one time since 2021 was this chart ever bullish. Now one time, chat. Only from October of 2023 until February 2024, this was a day cap bounce based on this chart right here. Now one time that we actually broke some structures and go from being bearish to bullish. Like, this is now looking good. Look, if this is what altcoin season, if this is what we're waiting for in terms of altcoin season, holy smoke, guys, RIP, to be honest with you. Honestly, like, RIP. Like, this is going to be some long wait. And To be honest, I'm really not surprised because yo, you look at these charts, you go to the monthly, it's a disaster. You look at Solana on the monthly, like what's here to like about Solana? It's nothing to like about this. You can go through every single altcoin. There's really nothing to like about. And in terms of the MACD, look, goes back to exactly what I was just talking about. You want your MACD to turn bullish right on the zero line, guys. This is a zero line right here. All right. If this was your investment strategy, you would have bought Solana somewhere around $39. Like you would have bought Solana right here. The week of or the month of November 2023. So basically between $58 and $36. That's when you would have bought Solana. And you would have held to that position until sometimes March 2025. If the MACD was your buy and sell indicator. So you jumped in around $30 to $50. You exit around $120 to $140. So look, hopefully this was helpful in terms of the so-called altcoin season that's coming. All right, this chart is going around, and I know I have the right chart because if you look at this right here, this is exactly what we have right here, guys. So if I go back to this right here, let me get rid of that. Like this is exactly what we have. You see this breakout. This is the breakout right here. And then they have the other one right here. Like that's exactly right here. Boom. And then this is the current trend line they have. So what they're saying is that you get this breakout, it's time to send price up here. All right. It's time to send price like this. Whoops. Yeah, I don't think so. Anyways, all right. What do we have? Chat, make sure you subscribe. Analyze OXY. Appreciate the updates, of course. Yeah, meme coins are flying. Meme coins are definitely going crazy. Take a look at Bunk. Let me take a look at those. OXY and then Bunk. Let me start with Bunk. Look, I do gotta be honest. These are day cap bounces. If you're looking at Bunk right now, I'm gonna say big mistake. Yeah, this is not the time. You might want to wait for a pullback. Already up crazy. Look, Bonk right here. Look, once again, bullish divergency. I don't know if we talked about Bonk, but probably. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. So this is Bonk right here. The time to get in was definitely here. So if you look up Bonk, there we go. There we go. The time to get in was definitely, I'm not going to say here because kind of hard to jump in right here. But right after this breakout, so this is about 2 days ago, that would have been the time to jump in right here. Look at this. This is a position that's currently up about 47%. So if I'm looking at Bonk, yeah, to me, way too late. If there's a pullback, you look for some sort of an entry. This range right here, you might want to go to the 1 hour. So yeah, so like that, if I go to the 1 hour, I'm looking for a pullback to, yeah, like anywhere around here. Like this is an interesting place. So you're looking, yeah, you're basically looking at a good 20% pullback, before jumping into something. If we go below this low right here, I think that will indicate the move is over. So somewhere around here, I will look to jump into something. Yeah, right now, way too extended. Way too extended. So wait until price comes back to retest what was a resistance. This will become a support. XYO. Is it XYO or OXY? OXY. OXY. Just gonna look at this right here. Yeah, I don't like this thing right here. Unless I got the wrong stuff. Yeah, this does not look good. Yeah, I don't know why he trades like this. Maybe there's a lack of volume. Let me see the Coinbase. Is it on Coinbase? Nope. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like this. Yeah, nah. I don't like. I think there's better looking charts out there, and this thing looks like a pump and dump actually. Kika. No, we talked about Bonk. Let's take a look at Kika. Remember, these are short-term trades. Okay, interesting. Yeah, look, I don't want to say it's too late, but yeah, wait for this daily to close. That would be the entry. I like the fact that he has managed to break above this resistance. That's really, really good. So if I'm looking at this one, I'm targeting this range right here. Go to the lower time. Let me go to the 1 hour. So the 1 hour right here. On the 1 hour, I think the daily would be an entry. The one, yeah, this looks, yeah, the 4 hour looks good actually too as well. Yeah, just the only thing I don't like is we are very close to a resistance, but I think we go higher. Yeah, the daily looks good with this. With a daily close like this, that looks really good to me. So, let me see. You're looking at a 20 to a 70% move. Like, I don't know if we make it all the way up here, though. But that looks good. Zora. Yeah, I think Zora looks good, actually. I like the ones that haven't really moved much. So Zora, here you have your bullish divergency. Here we are trying to break out. I think we're gonna break out. So if I go to the 4 hour, this is the big breakout right here. So if I'm looking at Zora, look, even though we are currently at a resistance, I think the whole market is gonna send. It's gonna help this thing send price up. So stop loss below 39 cents. Just in case we get some sort of a rejection right here and then come back. If I was looking at this, I think my stop loss would be below 39 cents. If we come back here, that will look like an inverse head and shoulders and then up. In terms of targets, this right here, oops. In terms of targets, this right here looks very attractive to me. I'm looking at the top of this range right here. So if this is the entry, this is a 30% move. Stop loss below 39 cents. 10%. I like it. Absolutely like it. Whatever you do, make sure you have a stop loss in place. This is not a market where you just go in, naked without a stop loss. Don't play with fire. Or, if you're not convinced, wait for a breakout and then, jump in and then put your stop loss. I don't know. If you put your stop loss here, you are, yeah, that's too much. I like my stop loss, risk to be less than 10% or 10% max. That's because, look, if I'm losing a 10% trade, all I need is just, I think, another 10, 11% to break even. So it's not like I'm losing and I got to go after, a 200% move to break even. 10% loss, 11% profits. You basically break even, and then you do it all over again. So you want to make sure there's a stop loss in place. The market looks really good if you ask me. You guys that watch these streams right here, we talked about it. We said the market would was looking pretty good. Very exciting times. It's been a long waiting, but definitely very exciting times. Once again, give me a follow. Go to my X, and guys, honestly, I'm begging you guys. I'm trying to get my YouTube back. If you guys can share this, tag YouTube, talk to them. I need my channel back. I need it. All right. All you gotta do is just share. Tag YouTube. Let's make some noise. Let me see if I can get my main channel back. This is tough, man. Building all over again is extremely difficult, guys. Um. Anyways, yeah. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already. The other thing that I also wanted to say is that please watch this video right here. I show you exactly what to look for in terms of long-term investment. If you're looking for some technical analysis where things are very simplified and you don't need millions and millions of indicators and you can actually see the price, I am giving you the blueprint. I give you guys a blueprint right here. Make sure whatever asset that you accumulate that is a long-term investment. And when I say long-term, I'm talking about years. Make sure they look exactly like what I talked about in this video right here. So, look, it's not the most popular video, but the value is there. So going back to the cryptocurrency market, going back to these altcoins right here, I think tomorrow should be an interesting. We should have an interesting market tomorrow because of the recent actions in Venezuela. We'll see how the stock market reacts tomorrow, but so far the cryptocurrency market is positive, so I think stocks are going to be fine. Yeah, look, the meme coins are going crazy. This is crazy. Look, WIF is up 20%. If you go from the low of this drop, this is a 60% move. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. And even Dogecoin, guys, we talked about Dogecoin. Remember, if you go from right here all the way up, Dogecoin is up a good 30%. This is unbelievable. Talked about CRV. This is a trade. Good entry. Good place to take profits. Even Toshi's up a good 17%. If you go from the lows, so it's actually up 50%. Yeah, this is wow. Wow. Yeah, it's a good time. All right, we're 53 minutes into this. Let's see what else. I guess, the question right now to me is how long is this going to last? This is the beginning, so I don't think this is over. Look, this is a clear breakout, AIOZ. Do we go and hit, like do we come up here? I guess that's the question I have. If I'm looking at AIOZ, like this is like a 100, 120% move. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm basing my targets on the 21 weekly. Look, I don't think we go there, but I could see us do an 80% move. And this is actually a 100% rally if you go from the absolute lows. of the pullback. So the 21 weekly is right now around 20 cents or 19. Yeah, 19 cents. So that's what you're looking at. So I'm basing my targets on that. If I'm looking at, even if I'm looking at Jasmine, like I think Jasmine, even from here, we could go up another 40%. But you have to be careful though. Let me be the first to give you a warning. You have to be careful. So yeah, Jasmine looks good. This is good. This is really, really good. Uh, right now, probably I have my stop loss. Let me go to the full hour. I'm gonna say I'm thinking about here. If I'm jumping in right now, I'm thinking about here, but I don't want a stop loss that's above EMA, so I might even go lower like this. But the thing is, like, where is my entry? Is my entry right up here, or? Okay, yeah, this one is not bad. 8% loss. Even Fetch AI. Oh my God, look at this one right here. Wow. Fetch AI, man. Look at this right here. I analyzed this recently. Look at this. It's already up 37%. Unbelievable. Let me see. No way. Wow. Yeah, this is amazing. Wow, wow, wow. hmm The memes are just running away with profits. It's a great time to trade this market right now. Aerodrome looking really good. Yeah, if you go down to like the low, okay, even this is a good entry right now, actually. If you're jumping in right here, your stop loss is below 52 cents. You ride it all the way up. Okay, we might get a retest of this breakout. So the 1 hour. I don't know if this is a retest of it or we're just going sideways and then boom. Or we might come back here and then up. Yeah, like I don't know how this is going to play out. But this looks really good as well. So another 20% move coming. Remember, 21 weekly moving average gives us this entire box. That is why. Gives us right up here. All right. So this looks really good. Flocky. Yo, the memes are, oh, yeah, the memes are just on fire right now. Flocky right here. Look at this bottom right here. The 1 hour could have been your best friend. Look at the 1 hour. Clear consolidation and then the breakout. Patience. All right, clear consolidation. Look, once you start seeing something like this where, price has been going down, but then all of a sudden, it's actually not going down. It's just going sideways. You should always think about what's coming. And most likely, it's a reversal. It's not a dump. It's most likely a reversal. So, this is phenomenal. I'm sure there's a bunch of coins out there that really haven't done anything. And they may go up soon. If I go to Coinbase, let me go and see top gainers. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Bonk is in the top gainers. Degen, Useless. Useless is in the top gainers as well. Oh my god, look at this move right here. Oh my gosh. Look at this right here. So, yeah, look. Look at the consolidation right here. Like normally when you start, look, price has been going down. All right, like very clear. And then all of the sudden, from the 19th of December, we just go sideways. When you get something like this, a breakout is coming. So look at this breakout right here. Oh my gosh. Look, this is an 80% move. Like this is unbelievable. It's actually done more than a 100% rally. But remember guys, this is in the short term. This is not going to achieve anything because when you go to your bigger time frames, I mean, there's nothing to be excited about. So this is going to give us a day cap bounce. You know, if I'm looking at this, my 21 weekly, does it even, it has one. Yeah, this one, probably somewhere around here, the move comes to an end, somewhere around 15 cents. Yeah, I think it's too late right now. Coin, Gecko, let me see. Top gainers sees, what the hell is CZ's dog? Wow. Tokens with most volume on CoinGecko. Look, meme coins. This is the reason why this bull market has been trash, man. Meme coins, meme coins. Like that's where the money has gone. Accidental petroleum stock. Let me see. Oh, those ones gonna go crazy, right? Like, let me see. What's going on? What is? Oh, so I was analyzing the wrong. I thought it was a crypto. So OXY. Oh, right here, right here, right here. Woo-hoo-hoo. Monthly. Yeah, still in the downtrend. This is in a downtrend. The question is though, is there something here? Like, are we trying to put in a bottom? Go to the weekly. Yo, what's going on? Oh my god, don't tell me my mouse is about to die. So, oh my gosh. Is that why it's slowing down? Yeah, look. We haven't really, like, we haven't broken some structures. You know, you can say, okay, this is a breakout, but I don't think so. Not for me. You can say this is a breakout, but yeah, no. I need to see this low put in. And then if we can get above, 49, okay, that is something. Yeah, it's too early because like this could be this. This could be exactly this. You see how here we looks like we had a breakout, but the structure was still basically bearish. Now, once we broke above 67, that was good, but you need the pullback to put in a higher low. So if I'm looking at this, to me, I need price to go up. I need a pullback, and I need to see something like this. This is where the trend is officially reversed, and you're more likely to see price go up. Anyways, chat. Appreciate you guys. I don't think there's anything else to really talk about. Um, yeah, the altcoin market is bullish in the short term. Price should go up. You should not be surprised because we said, hey, the market is becoming bullish, right? We said this the last couple of days, and we looked at different trades. We looked at SUI, we looked at Aerodrome Finance, we looked at XRP, we looked at some of those trades, and we said, yes, price is going down, but we have a reason to be bullish on this market. And of course, you guys, look, it is right here. We were analyzing it. Now, unfortunately, AVAX that we talked about hasn't hit our target, but it looks really good. SUI that we talked about hasn't hit our target, but it looks really good. XRP and all those other coins that we talked about. I do appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. I will see you tomorrow.